welcome to the Haunted Hacker Podcast. This is a special episode. We have the Hackers for Vets here, Gerald and Jonathan, Matt, myself, and one of our candidates, Tyler, who I had spoken to for quite a bit on the phone last month after submission. So I wanted to get a chance for everybody to meet Tyler and for the community to meet Tyler as well. So Tyler, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? And I really appreciate you taking time out of your Christmas, schedule and being with us today. But go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and what drove you to apply.
Sure. And first, I really appreciate the invitation. I'm happy to speak with you guys, and I'm glad we were able to find a good time in the holiday season. So a little bit about me. Currently, professionally, I am the director of cybersecurity at a local MSP/MSSP here in Lafayette, Louisiana. This is my hometown, so I was excited to find a role that allowed me to move home. I'm married, I have 4 kids, 3 girls and a little boy. My oldest is 7, my youngest is 18 months old. In 2019, we just had our third, and I was finishing up my degree in IT and cybersecurity, and excited to find an opportunity to move home because we needed some help. And then shortly after moving home, we had our fourth, my son. My background, my career started with 5 years in the Marine Corps. I was an Arabic linguist by trade. I did that actively for about a year before getting an opportunity to deploy to Afghanistan, where obviously I don't speak Arabic there. So I got trained as an intel reporter and went out there and did that a couple times. That was just a really cool opportunity. And over the course of that time, working in intelligence, worked adjacent to some cyber operators, got really interested in the field, and started taking a couple classes to kind of get exposed to what it was all about. And at some point, I received the advice that if I was really serious about it, I'd be better off going in as a civilian without the distractions of military life. And that rang true. And so I ended up getting out and getting a degree. And I expected to be back in government work. But after about 6 months of separation, I said, I'd love to find something in the private industry and maybe not be tied to the federal government anymore. So I was happy it worked out that was the case. And in 2019, moved back home and started my position here at Raider. And it's you all know here that it's a robust community, always exciting, ever changing, constantly challenging, now more than ever. And so things are always interesting.
That's cool. Yeah, we had similar backgrounds with the intelligence, and you and I spoke quite a bit. It was a really great conversation. And, you talked to me about, why you applied and where that money would go and to help you finish out your CISSP and everything else to get you on the road. And that's kind of what we're looking for, that spirit, that drive, that motivation.
Sure.
And also not only that, but to make an impact, right? So I was trying to find a way that I could make an impact personally. And that's where Hackers for Vets came up, because I wanted to take what I gained and what was given to me and give it back. Because I told my analysts all the time in the SOC that you can't retain information and knowledge unless you give it away. The key is giving it away. And I feel the same thing about, being blessed or money or, have an advantage. I think that when you give that away to somebody else, you're empowering somebody else, which, creates a community and helps everybody. You bring the lowest man up and he helps the next person. So that's kind of the idea behind Hackers for Vets. Gerald or John, Matt, do you guys have any questions or want to talk to Tyler about Hackers for Vets?
Yeah, I got a question for Tyler.
Sure.
I'd like to know kind of what did you take from your time in service to kind of get you where you are? Like, because there are some challenges, right? You got to get through some hard times. So what did you take from your time in service that helped you get kind of where you are?
So I'd spoken with Mike about this, but my path to the military, and I found this was a really common thread between a lot of folks in enlisted intel, especially, was actually failing out of school. I was a biomedical engineering major at Georgia Tech, had the whole world in front of me, and within 1 year I was academically dismissed. And so I knew then, I had the intelligence to get myself there, but I lacked a lot of discipline and I guess work ethic and just try hardness that it takes to be successful. And that's really applies to anything. And so going into the Marine Corps, I mean, those are the tools. The Marine Corps has been doing it for a long time. They know how to instill those things in you. And that's what was instilled in me. And I attribute that to so much of my success today. Just those tools that were drilled into me from boot camp on and then relearned over and over and over again.
Yeah, Jonathan is actually a retired Marine officer.
Yeah, I just
right?
retired. I just retired back in May.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
No, thank you.
So what about you, Matt? You and I have some history with this Hackers for Vets thing, right?
Well, I wondered if you'd had a conversation with Tyler about having a beard longer than one of the panelists and what that might do to the implications for the overall judgment. I don't know if anybody had that conversation, but he's got a nice looking beard there. No, Tyler, Mike, and I shaved our beards to generate some of the funds that are trying to make this possible for Hackers for Vets, and we raised $202,667 together. And shaved our beards November 11th or 12th. I'm sorry, on Veterans Day. But thank you all for your service. I'm not a service member. One question I'd ask, Tyler, you know, I also have my CISSP. It's opened doors for me that would not have been there before. You know, what's your timeline? What would you do with the funds? How would they aid you in accomplishing that next step? Is I guess my question on that, just as a fiduciary.
I think Mike had alluded to it, but I'm actually enrolled in University of Louisiana at Lafayette here in town, a master's program in informatics, and very, very grateful for having had the opportunity to pursue both a bachelor's and a master's with the help of the GI Bill. But I used the last of it this semester, and I've got one semester left. And so first and foremost, something like Hackers for Vets would help me finish paying for school and you know, keep the bills flowing, you know, during that time when I'm focusing my efforts on school. And then in parallel to that, working towards the CISSP certification, preparatory materials and cost for the exam. I'm sure I can get assistance through work to help fund some of that as well. But it would certainly help have my own way and get that done.
Last important question. Do you feel any ill thoughts towards Roddy Bergeron?
Roddy and I actually we had met a couple years ago. You know, he's heavily involved in the community here.
Yeah.
And we
he's
were
my buddy.
A mentorship group together. Yeah, I love Roddy.
All right, cool. You're good then in my book. Yeah.
That's awesome. And the most quiet man in the room who probably swings the heaviest bat is Gerald. Gerald's a good friend of mine, and I look up to him a lot. He is probably the kindest, most gentlest person I have ever met in cyber. I have never seen this guy out of color, ever. Gerald, you have anything for Tyler? Can't hear you.
Got a
There you go.
new setup going here. I've got a fourth monitor now, so with the teleprompter, so there's things I'm trying.
That beard is looking mighty fine there, buddy. I just wanted to call it out.
This thing's like next level fierce. Like I actually, I had to get it its own Christmas gift. It's that big. But anyways, first of all, thank you for the kind words. That was very, very thoughtful of you and wonderful to hear. Tyler, one of the things that I'm always really curious about, because to me, cybersecurity is, it's a lifestyle. It's much more than just a job, right? And you're already director of IT at an MSP, which is fantastic. Congratulations on that. I love like how you've already gone from academic dismissal up into leading teams and doing really cool stuff. What is your, like, what's your career vision? Like, where do you want to go? What do you want to do? How do you want to grow? And what does that entail?
That's a great question. I think that starting just where I am now, there's an opportunity for a lot of growth and impact for what we do here as a service provider, not only for local businesses, but businesses around the nation. And it's a conversation. And again, I'm preaching to the choir here, but it's a conversation that just grows with importance day after day. And it takes so much effort to get out there and educate people and inform people and make sure that security is prioritized. And from this position, I really believe I can make that impact for this business, for this community, and then and just grow that over time. Also, something that Mike had alluded to was that impact that you can have and giving back to the community. I think there's a strong parallel between the military community and the cybersecurity community, both very tight knit, both reliant on everyone within that community. And I think in a role like this, as I continue to grow, there's a great opportunity to become more and more heavily involved with the community, to learn from each other, and then beyond my leadership role here at the company I work at, finding my footing, identifying a leadership role that I could take part in within the cybersecurity community as a whole.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, it definitely is a community, and probably a lot like the Marines. There's a lot of like holding each other accountable, and just being inclusive, supportive. I do it a lot. We all of us do it quite a bit. So yeah, there's definitely, and there aren't like only 5 seats at that table, right? Like you can always grab a chair and bring another chair over to the table. So that's fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah, Gerald, I met Gerald last year, and I got onto his podcast and was listening to it, and ended up going on this podcast, and we became pretty good friends. But his community is amazing. So Tyler, if you're not part of his community, you should probably join it, because he has a ton of people in the community, and the content that he puts out is phenomenal. So I can't say enough about Gerald. Gerald's a superstar. He knows it. So with the spirit of trying to keep it short so I don't run out of oxygen and end up in the hospital, I wanted to call this meeting. We've been talking about this. I've done the interviews. I've read everybody's resumes and CVs and their letters. And one thing that really stood out about you, Tyler, is the fact that, you were set back a couple times, but it didn't stop you. And that's kind of where I came from. I didn't have that smooth path to cyber. I didn't have a degree. I didn't graduate college. I barely graduated high school. But it took a lot of hard work and really trying to find where I was supposed to go. And I didn't have a map. I didn't have, now in cybersecurity, we have these huge cloud diagrams with maps to different positions in cyber. That didn't exist when I got in. We just kind of had to figure it out. So I'm trying to help everybody else figure that out as well. Those maps can be kind of, confusing at times and daunting. So hopefully, with Hackers for Vets, we can make that transition and that impact that much stronger. And so I wanted to call you on this podcast, Tyler, because it's Christmas. It's what's today? The 23rd. I think it's the 23rd.
Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
Eve squared.
Yeah, we're coming really close to Christmas. I originally wanted to do this on my birthday. However, I've been super sick. So with Tyler, we've chosen you as a candidate. So you'll be getting a check for $10,000, and I'll be mailing that today. And I'm happy to give it to you. And I just want you to take that money, do what you need to do for you and your family, and to further your career in cyber and make that impact. And also, part of the deal, I also want you as a special advisor on the board. So when candidates get the reward, they can come join us and help other people. So it's kind of a two-pronged effect. But I'm happy for you. I'm really proud to be able to give that to you. Feels good.
Thank you. I don't think I can express my appreciation in words, but really, I'm so grateful. And as far as the trade-off goes, that's a win-win as far as I'm concerned. I'm happy to do it.
And I'd also extend that as you get ready for your CISSP, if you don't have a sponsor, please reach out. And I'd also be glad to mentor you through that. I took mine 2 years ago, and I am a serial test taker, so I'd be glad to help if I can give any pointers. So
absolutely. I mean, that's like a third win. I greatly appreciate it.
Awesome. So any questions for us, Tyler?
No, I mean, honestly, I'm just a little speechless right now. So no questions.
Well, I really appreciate it. And like I said, you were one of the few candidates that actually applied for the reward. And your submission letter was like 2.5 pages long. It was so detailed, and like every little detail, I was like, I could feel what you were feeling in that letter. And it took me back to when I was in the military.
That's great. I really didn't know what to write, so I just sort of started spilling it out.
That's
So
awesome.
good. I'm glad you appreciated it.
Well, I'll be looking for that check. I'll get with you offline, get all the information I need. I'm going to FedEx it to you so you don't have to wait for the mail. I don't trust the mail anyways. And then have a great Christmas. And I hope you and your family have a warm, enjoying Christmas, with your family and spend some quality time.
Thank you.
That's all I have. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Gerald, Jonathan, Matt.
Get better,
for,
Mike.
the show and
Absolutely.
Yeah.
get
Congratulations, Tyler. Fantastic,
appreciate it, guys.
fantastic
Congratulations, man.
work. And I'm pumped to see what to follow your
Absolutely.
career.
Yes,
frankly.
I'm very excited to continue working together. Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Cool.
Thanks, guys. And I'll try to do a podcast next week, depending on the level of oxygen I'm at. Right now, I'm probably at like 90, so I need to sign off.
All right, get better. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas.
Congrats,
Merry
Tyler.
Christmas,
Merry
guys.
Christmas.
Everybody.
Good seeing you, Jerry and John. See you.
Yeah, you too,
Absolutely.
Matt.
Later, good.